Once any underwriting conditions have been cleared, your loan is moved to the closing department. The closing department prepares your final closing documents and sends them to the settlement agent where your loan closing takes place. In some states, the settlement agent is known as a title company or escrow company, and in others it may be a closing attorney's office. On a purchase transaction, the date of closing is specified in your sales contract. On a refinance transaction, the closing date is determined between you and your loan officer and can be dependent upon current loan turn times. A minimum of 3 business days before closing, you will receive a copy of your preliminary closing disclosure, which is also known as a CD. Your CD details the terms of your loan and includes an itemized list of all fees related to your closing. You should review your CD and compare it to the loan estimate or LE that you were given earlier in the loan process. Be sure to ask your loan officer about anything you don't understand and alert them if you feel there is a mistake. The last stage in the process for you is the actual loan closing. This is where you will review and sign your loan documents. Your settlement agent has many responsibilities, including conducting the closing and going over all of your closing and loan paperwork. They take care of the transferring of funds to or from any parties related to the transaction. They are responsible for ensuring tax and insurance payments are properly handled, and they are responsible to ensure the successful transfer of ownership takes place with the recording of all legal documents. They are also responsible for the successful return of all original documents to your lender. Prime Lending provides your settlement agent specific closing instructions. Once your closing has been completed, your settlement agent will upload specific documents and a funder will review the documents to ensure the closing instructions were followed and that your loan documents are signed and dated properly. Once confirmed, a funding authorization is given to the settlement agent. This funding authorization allows the settlement agent to release the loan funds and finalize your transaction. If the Prime Lending funder discovers mistakes with the loan documents or finds that the closing instructions were not properly followed, the funding authorization won't be given until those mistakes can be corrected. Because of this, it's smart to allow some additional time after the completion of your closing to ensure that the settlement agent won't need you to sign a document that was missed or fix a signature that was put in the wrong place. When arriving to your closing, all parties to the transaction must be present and have legal identification. Even if you're married and the loan is only in one name, your spouse may still need to be present to sign a few required legal documents, which can vary from state to state. If you have power of attorney and plan to sign on behalf of a person on the mortgage, it is critical that your power of attorney be approved by both the lender and the settlement agent prior to the loan closing, or it will not be able to take place. Very specific instructions will be provided whenever a power of attorney is utilized. You cannot assume that just because you have a power of attorney that it will be allowable for a specific real estate transaction. When refinancing your primary residence, the funding process is slightly different. A purchase loan funds on the day of closing, but when you refinance your primary residence, there is a legally mandated 3-day rescission period required. This rescission period is a cooling off period in which you can change your mind and walk away from the loan without penalty. Your loan will fund at midnight of the 3rd business day after closing. Saturdays count in rescission, Sundays and federal holidays do not. This rescission period can also be helpful in the case of a loan that was not closed properly with the settlement agent, as it affords a few additional days to correct any issues related to the loan closing. For more information on the closing and funding process of your mortgage, or for information on any other mortgage-related topic, please reach out to your Prime Lending loan officer.